to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know. Just watch your world. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. I will try to fix you.
You're listening to WUSM Hattiesburg. It's time for Southern Miss Today. Southern Miss Today is WUSM's news and public affairs program. Southern Miss Today airs Monday through Thursday at noon. Southern Miss Today is sponsored by Mr. Sippy Beverages. And now to start the show, Southern Miss Student Media News.
Welcome to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. You're here with Madison Warren, and I'm here to give you all the news surrounding Hattiesburg and the world. So let's dive in. Staff members from the University Press of Mississippi will be visiting the campus today, Monday, October 17th, to meet with members of the university community interested in publishing with the press. Craig Gill, director of the press, will give a presentation at noon, so right now, to interested faculty, students, and staff over pizza in College Hall, room 104 on the Hattiesburg campus. And Gil will also meet at 1 p.m. individually with faculty and others who wish to discuss book projects. The Student Government Association encourages students to take an active role in the upcoming student activity fee listening sessions. The student activity fee listening sessions will be held at the following locations and times. October 18th in the Thad Cochran Center, room 218, 4 to 5 p.m. October 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. It's an online session. And then November 10th in the Thad, room 218, 12 to 1 p.m. All U.S. students are welcome to attend. A special election for students to vote on the matter will be held on November 15th. In Hattiesburg news, a 12-year-old girl was airlifted to the University of Mississippi Medical Center after being reportedly accidentally run over at the Lone Oak Apartments on Sunday. Jones County Sheriff's Department spokesperson Lance Chancellor said Sunday night that the accident occurred when the girl reportedly ran out in front of a vehicle. She was transported by EMS to a landing zone by the Jones Family Medical Center on Mississippi 15 North and airlifted to the UMMC in Jackson, Chancellor said. Her condition is unknown as of Monday morning. The annual Zubu Halloween party will take place nightly from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. beginning Friday, October 21st and running through Sunday, October 30th at the Hattiesburg Zoo. Tickets are available for all ages, 2 and older, at a cost of $13 in advance and $15 at the gate. Ticket availability is not guaranteed at the gate. Children are encouraged to wear costumes, and adults are welcome to join in on the fun. Zubu is not a trick-or-treating event. All ticket sales are final. Zubu is a rain or shine event, so please be prepared for the weather the day of your visit. Only in the case of severe weather will the zoo management cancel an evening of Zubu. If that happens, ticket holders will be able to receive a refund or move tickets to another night. I am from Newton County, Mississippi, specifically Conehatta, Mississippi. Conehatta sits about 15 minutes from Decatur and about 15 minutes from Lake. And the little town of Lake was devastated this weekend after the death of a student. Scott County Sheriff Mike Lee has confirmed that a Lake High School senior was killed Thursday afternoon in a drive-by shooting near the intersection of Old Highway 80 and Johnsontown Road. The victim has been identified as football player Travis Jones. The incident is under investigation and being handled by the Scott County Sheriff's Office. Jones was a starter for the Lake defense and had recorded 20 tackles this season. The Southeastern Conference has fined Tennessee $100,000 for a wild field storming celebration after a win over Alabama. Meanwhile, the school is seeking donations to replace the goalpost. The league announced the fine for the school's second violation of the access to competition area policy. The first came after a basketball game against Florida in 2006. The third-ranked Volunteers knocked off number 6 Alabama 52-49 on a last-play field goal Saturday at Neyland Stadium. It ended a 15-game losing streak to the Tide. Fans stored in the field ripped up one of the goalposts and heaved it into the Tennessee River. We will be right back with sports and weather after these messages.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mississippi will give you 1-month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Since 1927, the Student Prince has been a direct conduit to USM students. Get your share of the more than $600 million USM brings into South Mississippi by advertising your business or service in the Student Prince. To find out more about how to advertise in the Student Prince, email sm2sales@usm.edu.
Welcome back to the top. The Golden Eagles played against the Arkansas State Red Wolves this Saturday and beat them with a 20-19 win. Head coach Will Hall went with backup quarterback Jake Lang as the Golden Eagles mounted a 12-point fourth quarter comeback to beat Arkansas State. Congratulations to Mia Wesley for reaching 1,000 career kills in volleyball. Southern Miss Volleyball will be playing Arkansas State October 21st at 6 p.m., and it is Christmas themed, so wear your favorite ugly Christmas sweater and bring toys for a toy drive. October 22nd at 2 p.m., the theme is Block Out Cancer, so wear pink. There will be pink Block Out Cancer t-shirts to give away. Women's basketball will play Valpo, Saturday, November 12th, and that will be their first game of the season. In weather, we won't see much change today as a front passes through, but the next couple of days will be shockingly cool and dry. In fact, while it looked plenty cold already last week, lows have fallen another few degrees, now bottoming out only a degree above freezing in Hattiesburg. Generally, that means we'll find some even cooler areas further north, but we shouldn't expect to see many upper 20s or anything like that. Still, it's enough to bring us our first freeze warning of the fall season fairly quickly after a late summer-like weekend. So here's what to expect. Today will be cloudy and a bit breezy as the front pushes through. We don't expect much rain, but a light sprinkle or a short shower isn't out of the question. The cloud cover will increase through the morning and afternoon, then begin breaking up overnight as the cold, dry air rushes in. That brings our afternoon high from 77 degrees today down to 61 degrees tomorrow. Couple that with a stiff, gusty wind from the north, and we're looking at some noticeably different days. Wednesday morning in particular is looking quite cold, low bottoming out near 33 for Hattiesburg. That's a degree above freezing, but we will see plenty of frost thanks to the cold, calm conditions. The frost will stick with us through Thursday morning, but we'll see another fairly quick warm-up due to another front next week, leading to a practically perfect weekend ahead. So that's all I have today. So, Jackson, did you know that we have a holiday this week? Did you know?
I did. I've been very much looking forward to it. We have fall break this week. Then next week we have Thursday off because of the football game. So
Yes.
I'm definitely thrilled about that. I know you are as well.
I am. The holiday I was referring to was Wednesday will be my birthday. So that's my holiday. But yes, fall break is definitely, I was tricking you. I was trying to see if you knew or not, but it's okay.
Well,
I understand.
That's just something we have to learn as this show keeps going forward,
Yeah, it's okay. But yes, I will be celebrating my birthday in New Orleans this weekend.
Oh.
So, yeah. I know. But yeah, so Jackson, you went to the homecoming game, right? So I was there too. So did you enjoy your time?
I sure did. I was working at the game up in the box, and one thing I noticed is that the student section really looked full. They looked like they were having a good time. Not as good a time as you're going to have this weekend, but they were having a good time, and they were filled for about 2 quarters. And then halftime, most everybody kind of left. But one thing I will say, I implore them to stick through the game for the Louisiana game Thursday night. It's going to be on national television. You know, make the school look good. You'll have 3 more days afterwards to go home and get together and drink your Pepsis or grape juice or whatever it is.
I mean, we're missing school for the game, so I mean, why not go to the game?
Exactly. There's extra time, and everybody went to the game. You know, just maybe stick around, see what happens. But without further ado, we have our Mississippi Moments package coming up. Let's have a listen.
This is Mississippi Moments on MPB, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi, and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Elton Foray served for 6 months in Vietnam as a Navy hospital corpsman. According to his wife, Emma, he never told her about being wounded until years later.
He was a hospital corpsman, and he spent 6 months on Vietnam soil. Unbeknown to me, till many years after we were married, he had a wound while he was in Vietnam, and he felt it was a very minor wound and didn't deserve the recognition of a Purple Heart because his buddy died during one of the conflicts, and he never acknowledged or let anyone know he had the Purple Heart. Only people who had access to his military record knew that he was the recipient of a Purple Heart. So we happened to be going to a retirement ceremony of this young man who also was a recipient of the Purple Heart, and he asked Elton to wear his Purple Heart at his retirement ceremony. So on the way there to the ceremony place, my son Jim said, "Dad, what's that medal you have?" That's when I realized it was a Purple Heart. I'd been married to this man for, I guess, 15 years. Didn't even know he had a Purple Heart, nor did anybody in his family know that.
To hear more, visit MississippiMoments.org or just like us on Facebook. Mississippi Moments is supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. The humanities are for everyone.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. That was Mississippi Moments, and we thank MPB as always for providing that daily content for us. But we're about to go to a quick commercial break, but right after that, we have a very special guest, someone running for public office. That is Judge Gay Polk Payton, running for the District 12 Circuit Court over Forest and Perry counties. We're excited for that interview, and you should stick around right here on Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mississippi will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
What's going on, Southern Miss Radio? I'm Austin, aka Smooth Oz, with 4th Street Sports Show. Me and the crew are back on Mondays at 5 p.m. Yes, Mondays at 5 p.m. Tune in to 88.5 for all things Golden Eagles athletics and a fun-filled experience with recaps and interviews from coaches, players, and administrators. Mondays at 5. Don't forget.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. I'd like to welcome our very special guest, Judge Gay Polk Payton, who is running for the District 12 Circuit Court over Forest and Perry counties. She has 25 years of experience practicing law, and she was born and raised right here in the Pine Belt. Judge, welcome
How you
aboard.
doing? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good, running as always.
Good. So, fill in the blank. A victory for you this November would mean blank.
Oh my God. It would mean a change in my career. One of the things that I would have to give up is the practice of law. I've been practicing law for 26 years. I've been a justice court judge for 10 years with Forest County and the city of Hattiesburg Municipal Court judge for 3 years. And so I would have to leave those wonderful aspects of my life behind to be circuit judge. You cannot have any other practice, any other involvement in any other aspect of the law once you become a circuit judge. So I'm excited about that. We have been working tirelessly to get this done. It's a very important election. We need, I'm just ready to move this county forward. I have a master's degree in business. Got my undergrad in business here at Southern Miss to the top, and then I went and got my master's degree in business. So one of the things that I'm very good at is organization. So I want to help to keep the structure of the court running like a well-oiled machine, and I'm just ready to get started. I'm excited. I'm so excited about the possibilities.
I'll ask you about your time here at Southern Miss in just a second.
Okay.
But you talked about your extensive history in law, and you'd have to leave that if you got elected.
Yes.
What kind of swayed you into wanting to join the circuit court?
Well, I've been wanting to actually be a circuit judge for probably about 15 years. I was chief public defender for Forest County, and I was public defender for Perry County. And so that got me interested in the circuit court arena because, it's like the Constitution doesn't have a lot of passion or prejudice attached to it. Now, Chancery Court, on the other hand, a lot of judges have asked me, because we've had a lot of retirements in Chancery, they're like, why didn't you run for Chancery Court? I said, because I don't want to be a chancellor. I said, in Chancery Court, if somebody comes to me with a criminal case, they're asking me, can you get me out of this mess that I've gotten myself into? But when they come to me with a Chancery Court case, a domestic case, can you restore me to the point of contemplation before I married him, made a life, and some kids? I can't do that. It's like people want things that are impossible in Chancery Court, and nobody leaves happy. But in circuit court, either the prosecution, the defense, the plaintiff, or the defense, somebody's going to be happy when they leave that courtroom because you get finality in circuit court. That's what I love about it. It's just the application of the Constitution, the application of civil laws to make sure that people are made whole when they're injured by whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, medical malpractice, workers' compensation. The circuit court is there to make sure that all of that happens, and that's a lot of what I've been doing in justice court and municipal court, and I just look forward to taking it to that next level.
Some of your accomplishments include, I believe it's the Martin Luther King Jr. Service Award, and
Yes.
did something with the starting of a drug intervention program. Is that correct?
Well, actually, I was on the inaugural team.
Okay.
Forest Perry 12th District has a drug court team, and we started that drug court back in 2003, and I was on that inaugural team. We traveled to several national conferences, learning how to deal with drug abuse, understanding how drugs takes over the need center of your brain, and then you just don't need to eat, you don't need to bathe, you don't need to do anything but get this drug. And I'm so passionate about that, especially with the amount of fentanyl overdoses that we've had. I still wear my opioid awareness bracelet every day. I got this last month at Moore's Bicycle Shop. Mr. Moore has been tireless in his efforts to fight the epidemic, and I wear this every day as a reminder that this is one of the many reasons that I'm running for circuit court, so that we can help to combat the fentanyl crisis and all of these overdoses that are taking our kids away.
And the Martin Luther King Jr. Service Award, can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, oh my God, that was wonderful for me because I sing the A-Phi Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity on campus moves out. They have the every year they have their prayer breakfast, and they always call me Dr. Hollingsworth. Eddie Hollingsworth always called me Holloway. Sorry, Dr. Holloway. Dr. Holloway always calls me to come and sing the national anthem or come sing a song, Bridge Over Troubled Water, something like that. But this year he's like, I really need you. I want you to sing, but I want to tell you you're getting an award this year. I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. He said, you're getting the Community Service Award. So I've gotten several Martin Luther King awards, like the Drum Major of Justice Award. I got that probably about 12 years ago. But I work tirelessly in my community, and I go and spend time with the children at the schools. I spend time with children at any level, K through law school. I will spend time with them, letting them know what thus says the law, what they can do to combat, peer pressure and all of the things that cause them to end up standing in front of me in court. So I really like to go to them rather than have them come to me, because by the time they come to me, they're in some trouble that they can't get themselves out of.
And you mentioned singing the national anthem. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, that you sang
Yes.
it at the Ole Miss Southern Miss baseball game this past May.
did.
So what I want to ask is, what was the best environment that you sang the national anthem in? Maybe the biggest crowd, and what goes into giving that performance?
Oh my gosh. The biggest crowd was in 2007. I actually sang at Arizona Cardinals Stadium.
Oh, wow.
And the Arizona Cardinals were playing the Denver Broncos. It was in December 2007. That was my biggest crowd. But I always like singing at home, and I like singing for military events. I sang at a National Drug Court conference in Washington, D.C., and I had a full dress Marine Guard behind me. I had chills because, that's one of the reasons why I love singing the anthem so much, because that's my reasonable service to the military, to give back to them what they're giving to us with their protection. Because one of my law professors tried to get me to join the JAG Corps, and I was like, no, sir. No, sir, we're not doing that. But so that's how I give back to them. I actually got an award from the military. They gave me a spearhead in a shadow box and made me an honorary member of the Spearhead Brigade down at Camp Shelby because I sing for their change of commands. And, I just respect so much what the military does to keep us safe. And that's my way of giving back to them.
Looking at your opponent in this November race, you're going against Bob Helfrich, who has been in office since 2003. What's it going to take to unseat someone as tenured as that in this Hattiesburg area?
Running as hard as I've been running, and that's what we've been doing. And the thing about it is, I learned so much from Judge Helfrich. He appointed me as Chief Public Defender back in 2003. I was the first woman and the first black to be Public Defender in Forest County. And it was the first time there was a full-time office. I hired our first full-time investigator. And he was the leader of the drug court team. And when I was a member, he appointed me as Public Defender for the drug court team. So I learned a lot from him. And and it's not any shade or any tea. It's like, I told him, I said, Judge Helfrich, at some point I'm going to run for circuit judge. So in 2010, he said, well, I just want one more term anyway. So I ran for justice court judge in 2011 instead of running for circuit in 2010. And here I am 3 terms later. I laid back for 3 terms, but it's time. It's time, and I want to make an impact on my community, learning some of the things that he taught me, because I did learn a lot from Judge Helfrich, but sometimes it gets to a point where it's time to pass the torch.
So is it fair to say that this is not a bitter race by
Absolutely
any means, just mutual
not.
respect between both candidates?
Exactly. I don't do bitter. I don't do bitter. It's like harboring bitterness to me is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I don't harbor bitterness, and so it's just like, to me, it's a clean race. I appreciate the fact that it's been a clean race, and I don't, because I don't do dirty politics. I ain't got time. I got too much on my plate.
Absolutely. Your opponent prides himself on consistently locking up criminals. That's what he says he's good at. What do you pride yourself on?
Looking at the totality of the circumstances in every circumstance. If you think about it, when, you have to take the big picture. Now, we have a capital murder case. The trial is bifurcated, and what that means is we have a guilt phase, and then we have a penalty phase. In the guilt phase, you determine whether or not the person actually committed the crime, but in the penalty phase, you go in, you bring in mitigation experts, you bring in psychologists, mama, dad, and medical records, school records. You want to figure out how this person got to the point that they committed capital murder, and the reason that they do that is to determine whether they get the death penalty or whether or not they get life without parole. I want to do that for every defendant, because when people go into drug court, the judge has them to write a 1-page paper on where they see themselves in 10 years. But I'm thinking about the 96 to 97% of the people in the middle. I want to know why you committed receiving stolen property. I want to know why you had that weed in your pocket. I want to trace the cable and find out how this person got to the point that they committed this crime. A lot of it stems from truancy. When I was public defender for 9 years, I noticed that when the judge would ask someone, how far did you go in school? They would say 9th grade. And that's kind of where kids go off the rails. When they stop going to school, they start hanging out with older kids who aren't going to school. Next thing you know, they've committed a felony with a weapon, get certified as an adult at 15, and they're a habitual offender by the time they're 21, facing life without parole. And we have to stop this cycle. And that's why I go to the schools. That's why we deal with truancy the way that we deal with truancy in justice court and municipal court and in youth court, to try to break this cycle, because it's a vicious cycle. And the younger girls start hanging out with older boys. Next thing you know, she's a teenage mother. She's a child herself. She doesn't know how to take care of a child, and that neglected and abused child becomes a juvenile delinquent and becomes a habitual offender by the time they're 21.
Looking at your Facebook page and your website and what have you, one thing that said often is that you want to be a judge for all. What does that mean?
Well, that means everybody gets treated the same. I don't care what your connections are. I don't care who your lawyer is, whether you have a lawyer. Some people don't have a lawyer, and some people will have to be appointed the public defender. I don't care what your walk of life is, what your sexual orientation is, what color you are, what color your mama is. I don't care. Everybody is going to be treated the same. I do not believe in preferential treatment. I don't believe in backdoor treatment. If somebody calls me about a case, I will call the court immediately and recuse myself, because I just don't believe that anybody should have improper access to the court. Whether they're my brother, my sister, my cousin, it doesn't matter. Nobody should have improper access to the court. Everybody has to be treated the same way. Otherwise, the sanctity of the court is destroyed. And we have to maintain the sanctity of the court and let it be a court of law where everybody is treated the same. Lady Justice is my favorite statue, because she's blindfolded and she's kneeling in humble submission to the ultimate authority above her, and she has a sword of correction in one hand and the scales of justice in the other hand. And when that scale gets tipped one way or the other, she doesn't see who's tipping it. She doesn't know who's tipping it. She just knows it is tipped, and she used that sword of correction to fix what needs to be fixed, and we move on to the next case.
Last question for me here. Obviously, born and raised here in the Hattiesburg area.
Yes.
Whenever me or my friends or whatever drive through any residential area in Hattiesburg, you look on the side of the road and it's just scattered with signs that say elect Gay Polk Payton.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you?
I'm just blessed. I feel so blessed to have the support of my community. I mean, I'm overwhelmed by it. I mean, I was riding in the parade the other day and people were screaming my name, you know, like I was, who's popular now with the kids? I mean, it's like they were just screaming my name, and I was so excited. It felt so good, because what happened when I first started putting out signs, people started inboxing me and emailing me and texting me, I need a sign for my yard. So by the time my signs actually came in, I had a list of over 300 people who wanted signs. So we started putting the signs out. The neighbors are coming out, I want a sign. So it's like everybody gets a sign. Everybody who wants a sign gets a sign. So it feels wonderful to know that the community that I grew up in, the one that nurtured me into the woman that I am, wants to allow me the opportunity to nurture it back.
And we thank you for joining us. You really nurtured us with that conversation. Last thing, how can we find you on the internet and in public? Like, where will you be next?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so this week, I'm on the bench this week in Forest County Justice Court, so that's where you're going to find me most of the time. Next weekend, I'm doing the Witches Ride from Keg and Barrel, so I'm pretty much I'm going to be everywhere. I have an event in Perry County on Friday, so I'm back and forth. It's a Forest and Perry County race, so I'm back and forth between Forest and Perry counties. But if you want to find me on social media, I usually list where I'm going to be, and that's at Gay Polk Payton on Instagram and Twitter, and Gay L Polk Payton on Facebook. That's my personal page, and then the Committee to Elect Gay Polk Payton on Facebook as well. And then I have a LinkedIn page, which is Gay L Polk Payton. Judge Gay L Polk Payton on
right.
LinkedIn.
That was Judge Gay Polk Payton here on Southern Miss Today. We thank her for joining us, and we'll be right back right after this.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mississippi will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Southern Miss Student Media is how USM communication students put their education into action. The student prints, Southern Miss Radio, SMTV, and SM2 Creative are the media properties operated by Southern Miss Student Media. You can get your share of the more than $600 million USM brings to the area with help from Southern Miss Student Media. To find out more about how to reach the USM audience, email sm2sales@usm.edu.
Welcome back here on Southern Miss Today. We once again want to thank our guest, the Honorable Judge Gay Polk Payton, running for District 12 Circuit Court here in the Forest and Perry County region. And now we're going to throw it to our daily SM2 wrap. We have SM2 reporter Jeterica Wilson reporting on Southern Miss breast cancer awareness activities. So let's have a listen to Jeterica.
Yes, I am here at the 5K run for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The sun is out, the temperature is nice, and I believe that everything is going to turn out successfully. Lineup started behind Century Park North near the Longleaf Trace Gateway. This event was hosted by USM's Kappa Iota chapter. The brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated spoke about the purpose of this 5K run.
Promote breast cancer between all ages, color, sexual orientation.
So we just want to come out, show the support, boost the awareness, and just have some fun today, just with all of us together.
The date of the 5K run was important to the fraternity as it was in honor of their charter day.
The 5K run is to support breast cancer and also in memories of our charter today. It is October 10th, 1980. This is our 42nd charter day.
Not only were there students that participated in the 5K run, but members of our community signed up and joined the race as well to show their support. Breast Cancer Awareness Month will last the entire month of October, but supporting the breast cancer survivors can be done every day of the year. The Operation Pink 5K run was a success after all. Jaterica Wilson, SM2 News.
Back here on Southern Miss Today, thank you, Jaterica. She does a lot of great work for Southern Miss TV and the like, and that was a good package there. Once again, just want to thank Judge Gay Polk Payton for coming on. Obviously, a tight election race as her opponent has been in office since 2003, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And unfortunately, that is all we have time for here on Monday's edition of Southern Miss Today. So on behalf of video producer Devontae Anthony, audio engineer Kelsey Bolden, our executive producer Whitney Howard, newsreader Madison Warren, I've been Jackson Howell. Stay golden, Eagles.
Southern Miss Today is your public affairs program, so use it. Be a guest on Southern Miss Today to spread the word about your civic events in the Pine Belt. Contact us at southernmisstoday@gmail.com. Make sure and listen to Southern Miss Today, Monday through Thursday at noon on WUSF. Southern Miss Today is sponsored by Mr. Sippy Beverages. Sponsorship comes from Southern Beverage Company, proud distributors of Anheuser-Busch and Yuengling. Southern